What's up, Connection? Welcome to Most Extreme Joshua Violence You'll Have Experience on the Extreme Three-Way Dance. JT, Jenny, and Matt taking you through the history of Extreme Championship Wrestling. And North South Connection takes you through the history of all sorts of things, wrestling and beyond. This podcast, like many others, simulcasts both audio and video. Audio on any podcast application, video here on YouTube. And of course, subscribe to our social media as well, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What am I missing? That's it, pretty much. Subscribe to all those. YouTube. Well, yeah, that's YouTube. Ryan Gray and myself, we're counting down every single WrestleMania match ever. Ranked them all 402. We're doing it in short format. They're all a minute or less every match. Those are on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook Reels. So subscribe and join us. Well, we're under half now left as we march toward Mania. The last one's going to drop number 1 on Mania Saturday. So subscribe, leave your thoughts and comments as to what Ryan gets wrong, what I get right. Love to hear it. As we move forward. So check that out. Check us out here. We're on this channel every other Thursday, alternating with WWE War, another great podcast. If you're a super nerd or interested in a statistical breakdown of every WWE pay-per-view ever, you can check that out. It's a lot of fun. All right, Matt and Jenny, we are here in February 1999. ECW. We started this journey in February 1994. 5 years in, Jenny, to this journey of ECW television with 2 to go. What are your thoughts so far?
My thought now is you often say the most extreme menage a trois violence you've ever seen, but that's pretty presumptive of you. Like,
I'm confident.
I mean, there might be more extreme ones. That
he's known us long enough that I think he's.
I mean, there's probably some extreme ones that happened in the locker room. The promotion we're talking about.
Oh, that's true.
But you know, it's pretty.
You know, just across the world as far as that goes.
It's pretty extreme.
I dare you out there to find a trio more extreme.
Yeah. Anyway, we've covered a lot in these 5 years, and we are in the early stages of Taz as the ECW World Championship reigns. We'll see how that continues to grow. We're on the path to living dangerously 99. We're going to kick things off on February 13th, 1999. We have ECW fan cam footage, Shid destroying one-man gang still around, as is our buddy Rugged Rod Price and
Rambling and Rod.
Matt, this happened in Fall River, Massachusetts.
It sure did. Not 5 minutes away from where I am currently recording right now.
There you go. The gang down by the river.
One-man gang is the wrestler this city deserves. So,
Rambling Rod Price down the street from Somerset.
Yeah.
A lot going on. We then get our slate for Living Dangerously. We get our opening animation. Joey's in the Nest. We're back in Detroit. He hypes up the pay-per-view, says Taz has requested to face Sabu in Asbury Park, but it's not yet official. Go to the ring for our opening match as Rob Van Dam is here in his hometown to take out Ulf Herman. It's a monster popped as RVD. Super over. Ulf awaits a subtle shot as our RVD takes his time. We clip into the match. We get the 2 trading arm holds and grappling. RVD peppers some kicks. We clip to him getting a high cross body. Herman comes back with some punches and a hard clothesline. We clip again to a slingshot clothesline by Ulf for 2. Clip to Herman countering a victory roll with a power bomb. Clip to him hitting another power bomb. Clip to RVD dumping him outside, meeting him with a huge plancha. Clip to RVD slugging Herman into the fans, meeting him with a springboard somersault plancha. We go to RVD hitting a springboard Van Damator into the crowd. The crowd is rocking. We clip back to the ring. RVD gets a rolling thunder. Then we go to him hitting the 5-star frog splash for the win. Mainly highlights, but it was fun. I mean, RVD's a spectacle. The hometown fans just want the hits. That's what we get. They don't care about the opponent, really. The showcase always connects for them. Give it the extrapolated 2.5 Matt for this RVD squash.
Never mind one-man gang sticking around. How the fuck is Ulf Herman still sticking around?
And Ramblin' Rod Price.
That German Van Hammer motherfucker. Good lord. He'd be a lot more interesting if he was Alf Herman. But, I mean, this is totally fine. You could put RVD in there with anybody, and he's going to have a 2.5-star match, and that's pretty much what this was, because Ulf Herman is pretty much a lumbering O. So, and RVD got a 2.5-star match out of him, albeit a clipped one, but it looked like it was a 2.5-star match, Jenny.
Yeah, it was clipped, and it was real messy. From what I saw, I did the 2.25 on it. The crowd is good, you know, they love him, and I love a 5-star frog splash to win a match.
Yeah,
nothing bad.
Nope. All right, we head back to House Party as Lance Storm and Tammy Lynn Bitch were in the ring where Tommy Dreamer, Justin Credible, and Credible's crew were all standing. Lance got on the mic, said someone had the nerve to say these guys had a better pay-per-view match, but the truth is he carried RVD to the best match of his pay-per-view career. So tonight, he will carry Tommy or Credible to the best match of his career and offers to take one of their slots. Storm is locked in here completely. Dreamer tells Credible to take his freak show out of here and take his rat to the back to suck another dick. And he clarifies he meant Jason, not Chaz. We get a loud "you suck dick" chant for Jason. Tommy says no one would let her suck their dick because she looks like a crack whore. And then says he told them to suck a dick, not Nicole's dick. Credible and the whole crew are shook here. Tommy says Tammy Lynn shouldn't be laughing. She's a carpenter's dream. She's flat as a board and easy to screw. So we don't see any of the match at this moment, but that was just from House Party. Any thoughts, Jenny, on Tommy just going scorched earth here on all these people?
Tommy taking lessons from Joel for
I guess, yeah,
insults.
He's had it seems
Look,
like.
Tommy don't usually talk like that. We don't normally see this from him. So, Lord, I was laughing. It was good. He has good delivery, and he kind of nailed them, all of them. So that was great. It was a great takedown for the Credible crew because they kind of been running shit for a minute. So I liked it, Matt.
Yeah, they needed to be knocked down a peg. I wasn't expecting it to be by fucking Tommy Dice Clay.
Yeah, me neither.
But Jesus Christ, he just went for the jugular right away and didn't fucking stop. Holy Moses. I mean, they were all good lines and it worked. I mean, the crowd just was all over it. But man, usually Tommy Dreamer bashes his head in a fucking lockers. He usually doesn't, say shit like that. Holy Moses. But yeah, it was good for, what it was. Holy shit.
It was different. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld all of a sudden, Tommy Dreamer.
What's the deal?
More like Andrew Dice Clay.
Joel Seinfeld.
Spike is backstage. He gets asked if he ever gets nervous, and he gives a candid answer about being a small guy in a big man's game. But when the bell rings, his acid drop gives all the courage he needs.
Fuck yeah! More of these promos. He looked cute.
And it's clear again, right? Again, they're becoming a TV promotion. They're trying to get some of these exposure to maybe new people watching off the pay-per-view. So,
yep.
All right, Joey and the Nasty talks about the Dudleys public enemy issue. Prazak is backstage with Gertner. He won't give any hints about who the Dudleys are paid by. It says it's pretty obvious if you think about it. We go back to Joey, who says in Raleigh, North Carolina, New Jack was not happy about being part of this bounty and wanted payback. So we get a fan cam from Raleigh where Spike took on Big Dick. The Dudleys got involved, hit a 3D, but New Jack came out with his bucket of fun. He creamed everyone, Gertner included. New Jack mashed him through a table off the balcony. The Dudleys swarmed and hit a 3D and left New Jack out. Joey then talks about how Mustafa was driven out of ECW due to 3D and now New Jack as well. Any thoughts on any of that before we get to our next match?
The fan cam footage is fun. I like it. The table spot was really cool because there was a glare like right at the balcony, right where New jumped out. So it looks like he just materializes out of nowhere, right through the table. It was great shit. And then Joel ate a skateboard to his fucking face. So that was awesome too. I like this. This is good.
That was very good, but also my big takeaway was that Prazak is very bad at his job.
Oh, he sucks.
He's not good.
The last episode, he doesn't know what Super Crazy is saying. Now he can't get shit out of Gertner. Like, just go home. This isn't made for you. You shouldn't be doing this. You're very bad.
We need Maddie in the house back.
Absolutely.
All right. Joey tells us the FBI attacked Nova earlier, leaving Antifaz del Norte to face them alone. And as the FBI head out to the ring, that means one thing. While the Italian lesson of the week may have been retired a few episodes back, Kat and Jenny, it is now time for the Italian culture lesson of the week.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Immersive.
We're through the words. We're now in level 2 Italian lessons here. So.
Right.
Tonight's Italian culture lesson of the week is the Feast of the Seven Fishes. Either of you familiar with this?
It's a Christmas thing, right?
Yeah.
It is a Christmas thing. It's an Italian-American celebration of Christmas Eve with dishes of fish and other seafood. It's not a feast, since it's just a grand meal. Of course, Christmas Eve was a vigil of fasting day, and abundance of seafood reflects the observance or abstinence from meat until the feast of Christmas Day itself. The Feast of Seven Fishes typically includes 7 different seafood dishes. Tradition comes from southern Italy, just like me, where it is known as the Vigil, La Vigilia, with no mention of the number 7. The celebration commemorates the wait for the midnight birth of the baby Jesus. As no meat or animal fat could be used on such days, observant Catholics would instead eat fish. It's unclear whether the term the Feast of Seven Fishes was popularized. It was once found. The newspaper's oldest article to the feast was in a 1983 article. The meal includes 7 or more fishes, considered traditional. And the typical feast may include some combination of anchovies, whiting, lobster, sardines, bacala, smelts, eels, not the Eric type, squid, octopus, shrimp, mussels, and clams.
What's your favorite course?
So I am not a big seafood guy at all. Not even though I
You
am from
can't
the
have
Ocean
Christmas
State.
then. Sorry.
Sucks for you, man.
But I did. My favorite was spaghetti and white clam sauce. My aunt would often make that on Christmas Eve, so I did eat that. They'd also usually make like a fried, like I don't know, like a chicken cutlet, but it was like cod scrod cutlet.
Oh, okay, fried
whatever,
fish.
so
Yes, that's what you're
I'd eat that. I'm not a shrimp fan, so I would not eat the shrimp cocktail usually. Those are the big ones, but then they would have like the other shit too, like the marinated fried eel, the octopus salad, like that. We'd have that stuff sometimes. Calamari, of course, is an option. We'd have that sometimes, but I'd say deep fried cod and the white clam spaghetti was my favorites.
I can get on board with that.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a lot of fish and seafood to have.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
what's a house smell like after that
Yeah,
preparation?
that's got a lot of intense smells.
Yeah.
Well, and when I was growing up, we would have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at my aunt's house. So like you'd still have the fish smell.
Yeah,
The
lingering.
next day we'd show back
Yeah.
up, 14 hours later. But it was I like for me it was very traditional Christmas Italian style. Like it was the house was full on Christmas Eve with people and a ton of eating. So not so much anymore because a lot of them are dead. But for a long time we had that tradition. I do recommend a pretty good movie. It's on Netflix. I think it maybe have coming off in January. Feast of the Seven Fishes. The ever popular Skylar Gisondo is in that. And if you're looking to capture the exact moment of what growing up in the 80s and early 90s Italian family Feast of Fishes, that movie I recommend. It's a kind of a rom-com, but it's pretty funny. And also The Bear season 2 has an episode centered around the Christmas tradition of the Feast of the Seven Fishes. That's on the opposite end of the movie, but also very relevant and relatable as an Italian growing up with the Feast of Seven Fishes. So, any questions about this cultural lesson, or are you good?
I like our Italian culture club we got going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One more to come. Anytime the FBI is on, we'll continue on. So, all right. Our next match is Little Guido taking on Antipasto del Norte.
I always write that. Why do I always write that?
That's all I'll be able to write now.
Ron Renzi, burnt in your mind. The FBI head out Little Guido, Tracy Smothers, Tommy Rich, and Big Sally Graziano. They're fired up as Guido will take on Antifaz after the Nova attack. Antifaz is out to a pop. Joey goes over the strategy and style of each man. My favorite nickname of all time, Joey busts out the Big Salboski. Sal. We get rolling with a quick chase sequence. Tracy gives Guido some tips about how to stretch him. Guido takes things to the mat. He rides and grinds on Antifaz. Antifaz switches over, grabs the arm. We get a reset. Guido takes the leg and cranks a bit. Antifaz comes back with a snap powerbomb for 2. Antifaz amps up with a missile dropkick. Guido bails out. Finds Antifaz, flies into Guido and Smothers with a somersault plancha. Back inside, Antifaz gets a Rana. Flying head scissors. Comes off to the middle rope with a Guido. Counters into a tiger bomb for 2. Guido gets a nut breaker for 2, but Antifaz comes kicking back, gets a switchblade for 2, twists into a submission hold, but Smothers makes a save. He lays out Antifaz. The FBI beat him down until Nova shows back up, makes a save, and cleans house. We get a swinging DDT on Sal on the floor.
Oh, nice.
That looked good. This morphs into a tag match. Nova works over both FBI. Antifaz comes in with a missile dropkick, and he finishes Guido with a gourd buster as Nova flies into the FBI with a somersault plancha in the background, which is some awesome framing.
Yes.
A fine match. It never really got going, but it's just kind of a sequence of spots. The focus on the cruiser style, though, is, again, the way they're reinventing this mid-card. with less, the brawling and heavy stories are kind of at the top, but this undercard is really this international flavor and this cruiser high flying, impactful style. The final stretch when Nova showed up, I thought was great. I thought he looked awesome. So I went 2 3/4, Matt. Again, I think this was more of a series of things versus a match, but those things were good, especially at the end.
Yeah, I went 2.5 on it. I thought it started out kind of slow, but once Nova got in there, it really picked up, and I thought it was great. Like you mentioned, that tornado DDT on Sal was ridiculous, just an insane move. Tommy Rich was billed as the reigning president of Italy, which was very good. So that was
that's next week's culture lesson.
Right. Who is the president of Italy? Tommy Rich. I'll know the answer now. So, but yeah, that was very good. So yeah, I like the finish too. It was like some North hit some weird Falcon Arrow thing on Guido. I thought that was really good. So started slow, but once Nova came out there, he really improved things. So I went 2.5 for the whole thing, Jenny.
Dude, I did 2 3/4. Like, I'm a big Nova fan. I don't know. This was good. I love the FBI too. Little Guido is always a great match. Like he's always fun in the ring, and the character stuff is on point. Big Sal on the sideline. We don't get to see him. Yeah, we don't get to see him every time, so that was great. Nova just is MVP in the finish. You get the pin, you get Nova just flying in the background. Just amazing shot. Like that was so awesome. I popped so hard for that. And then that DDT. We didn't even really see it. We saw half of it, and then we saw the fans' reaction to it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, I wish I had seen the impact of that. But I extrapolated that it was very good. So great match.
The extrapolations are specialty. I think Meanie leaving really has helped free Nova from like a comedy goof. Like I think he's able now to show his in-ring chops, which are pretty good. And now the style that they're emphasizing really fits him. So
fits him. Yeah,
right.
He's kind of lucked into like, all right, he's got a decent little maybe niche here in this mid card. All right, Joey talks about everyone lining up to challenge Taz at Living Dangerously. He hypes up the fantastic presentation of the pay-per-view that they have going on. But it's the wrestling that makes it stand out, not the bells and whistles. Back to the ring we go. It's Super Crazy. Takes on Yoshihiro Tajiri. This is in progress from Concord, North Carolina, part of ECW Carolina Invasion 99. Both men are trading counters on the mat. Tajiri gets a Rana as we amp up with the flow going back and forth, very hectic pace. We get a reset and some applause. Crazy ends up with a rolling surfboard into a rear chancery, chops away, but Tajiri comes back with a handspring elbow. We get an arm drag and the Rana, knocking Super Crazy to the floor. Tajiri gets an acai moonsault. The crowd is going nuts. Tajiri lays in some lethal kicks. He hooks the tarantula and follows Super Crazy down the aisle, continues to punish him until Crazy hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, meets him with a somersault plancha over the ref. Back inside, Crazy gets 2 on a moonsault, slams Tajiri hard to the mat, follows with a moonsault off the top, goes up again. Tajiri crotches him, twists him into the tree of woe, mashes him with a baseball slide. Tajiri nails him with a pair of head kicks, a low drop kick, hits the DDT for 2, but Crazy comes right back with the powerbomb to get the win. Look, red hot as always. Again, the template is there. 1 or 2 new spots, but the new crowd, yet again, loves it. We talked about this last episode. We're seeing these a lot, but the new crowds are in awe for the first time. Both guys are so good. The trading wins. So I just went 3.5 again. This was in line to me with the last episode, a little below their peak stuff that I really loved, but still so crisp and so good, Jenny. So 3.5 for me.
It's kind of like an automatic 3.5 because we're getting the same match every time. To me, just imagine watching this match that we've seen several times in a fucking raggedy ass basketball gym or whatever it is, because there's like goals on the walls. It's it's a full crowd, but there's maybe 1,000 people there.
Right.
It's just nuts to get sort of. To me, it's as repetitive as we've seen it happen. It still feels old school. Like it still feels like old school ECW. Like in these, because I don't believe we've been to Concord before.
If I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't recall if we have.
Well, I don't think we've been in the Carolinas at all because they referenced Raleigh earlier too.
Yeah.
So this might be a new area they're going to, or at least maybe they've been there, but haven't really focused on it. So,
So again, we get like the the smaller venues in
Yeah.
these areas, and then the bigger venues in the areas that we've multiply been to
Yeah.
before. So it shows their growth. Matches like this, keeping that 3.5 for forever until they do something new. Maddie.
Yeah, I mean, I went 3.5 on it too. Look, the matches are all great, and we've seen them all before, but that doesn't mean they're not great. I mean, and it just shows that they're clearly ripping it up everywhere they're going, and they're not taking a night off, whether they're in the ECW arena or going to, Chicken Screw, Iowa or something.
Mhm.
Like they're still throwing down no matter where they go, and that's cool to see because it means you're getting your money's worth no matter where you
Mhm.
live in the country if you're an ECW fan. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the same moves. It's pretty much move for
The
move
same
the
match,
same,
yeah.
but I mean, it's weird to complain about it because they're so good. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a 3.5, but we've seen it all before.
And we've been through this. There's been other feuds in ECW where they just kept running the match back.
Mhm.
Tanaka and Awesome, right? This is
Mhm.
Just
last
not
year.
to this level,
Um,
kind of. I mean, that was good, but yeah.
All right. Then we have Joey saying next week's show will come from Queens. It'll be the return of Sid to New York City. It's his first time since crushing Shawn Michaels at MSG in 1996. We get another Super Crazy Tajiri match in Queens, as well as the Dudleys versus Public Enemy and the homecoming of Taz. So a lot going on in Queens that we'll be checking out soon. For our awards, best match, I did go with Tajiri Crazy.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, worst match, I went RVD and Herman.
Yep.
That's correct.
All right, best moment, I went Nova cleaning house. Actually, I like that a lot. I thought that was awesome. The crowd was into it. Something you don't see out of him often. So
I gotta go with the Tommy Gertner tirade in the ring.
I think I got to go with the tornado DDT on
Oh shit,
Sal.
that was good too.
So I went with the Gertner Tommy thing for the most 90s because Dreamer was clearly doing like an Andrew Dice Clay
Yeah.
style like thing.
Yep.
So it felt very 90s the way, hey,
Mhm.
like the way he was hitting all the beats.
Yep.
To me,
Was.
it felt very 90s. So
All right.
Yep.
all right. Stock Rising, Sid, of course, RVD, Nova, Tajiri, Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
falling at us about one man gang, Ramblin' Rod Price and Von Crush. Who got Von
Basically
Crush.
everybody that was where I live. Yep. It's very fitting.
Final grade was 7 out of 10. I mean, another really good episode. We're on a roll, very entertaining, no real slow spots. And you keep rolling out these Tajiri crazy matches.
Yep.
Like
Right.
it's gonna carry most of the
Does
episode.
help.
So
Yep.
Yeah, it's a 7 for me too. I mean, just another enjoyable show.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. 7.
all right, February 20th, 99 opens with Taz emerging from a limo, gets an ovation from his hometown fans. They're waiting outside the Elks Lodge. Taz quiets them down. He says New York City has the belt. We see a clip inside the arena where Steve Corino powerbombs Cronus as Jeff Jones comes out and says he committed the crime of using a powerbomb in ECW, and that move belongs to the master. Sid comes out to a huge pop. He choke slams that puts Corino from the ring over the top through a table and a nasty bump. Sid then powerbombs Cronus, hops outside, tosses Corino back in, powerbombs him twice, and then powerbombs Cronus again, as Joey reminds us that Sid destroyed Shawn Michaels at MSG the last time he was in New York City. Sid plays to the crowd and heads off to cheers. So, Matt, what do you think of this opening here with Taz coming home and getting Sid out of the gate right away, just wrecking shop?
Look, having Sid, as we've seen, it's a good way to open up these shows with him just fucking killing these random people, like these random lower card guys. And so it's super entertaining to see. And I like how Jeff Jones is coming up with these weird fucking ways that Sid's fooling all these guys. Go, hey, you used a power bomb. That's Sid's move. Fuck you. Now he's going to kill you now. Like, it's fantastic. So
It's
I love
pretty
it.
great.
I love it.
Yeah, it really is. Like the Judge Jones thing's really working for me. Whatever, just whatever. I'm standing by it. I don't care.
Yep.
I like it.
All right. So opening animation, Joey in the ring says the Elks Lodge is rowdy as always. Joey brings Taz out to a pop. He starts to talk about living dangerously. Says whoever faces him for the title will tap or be choked out. And he'll choke out anyone from ECW, WWF, or WCW. Taz hypes up his hometown and says he is New York's world champion. The crowd is molten hot, but not much going on. This is, again, kind of a quick statement.
Yeah,
Taz.
super Taz stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically a promo just to get him to in front of his
Be
hometown
there,
crowd.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right, no surprise here. Joey in the Nest says, late breaking news as the Dudleys have run Public Enemy out of ECW. So
Oh my God.
they're gone as quickly as they came back. I don't
Weird.
know if WCW came calling or this might have been the WWF move because I know, again, they go there, but it's
Yeah.
quick. I mean, they get stiffed by the APA or whatever as like a initiation, and then they pretty much just bail out. So I know that's like right before Mania in March.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
I don't
say.
know.
I think it's right around there. So
I don't know if they were back to WCW then back, or if this was them getting ready to go to Stanford, because then they go back to WCW after that, right? They're there for a while. So
they're in that weird junkyard battle royal they did in the summer of '99 at WCW.
Right, and I don't know if we see them again, other than maybe a one-off, but I don't think they're back here again for a while.
Can't remember.
Yikes.
Yeah, so they're done. So we're not going to see the big blow-off. That's what I figured.
Well, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, whatever. I think, we saw the fight. That was probably enough.
It's fine.
We find out that Joel Gertner is going to reveal the benefactor that paid them off and put the bounty on New Jack. Joey says the internet is lit up with rumors of Shane Douglas's retirement. He's going to address them here tonight. This entire Queen show, Crossing the Line 1999, is on VHS, including an hour we won't see on TV. Back to the ring we go as Little Guido takes on Chris Chetty. Tonight we just have Guido and Big Sal. He carries out Guido on his shoulders, which is great.
Yeah.
Awesome entrance. Joey says Smothers are rich and are here. They're on a recruiting mission. Chetty heads down to get us going after a break. Guido stalls. The crowd chants, "You fat fuck it, poor Sal." Joey reminds us that Public Enemy is gone and Gertner will reveal all. Chetty kicks and slugs away in the ring. We transition to some mat work from Guido grinding and twisting Chetty. Guido targets the ribs. Chetty slips out, topples over Sal, and dodges a Guido Pescado. Back in the ring, Chetty gets 2 on a spin heel kick, heads back up top for a crossbody for 2. Chetty goes up again. Guido powerbombs him down for 2. Guido dumps Chetty outside. Sal throws him into the post. Chetty comes chopping back. Guido ducks a springboard, hits some elbow drops. Chetty snaps off a neck breaker, slugs away, gets a springboard sidekick and a power slam for 2. Chetty slugs Sal on the apron, drop kicks Guido into him, and hits a tiger bomb and a top rope moonsault for the win. Pretty fun little match. I thought both guys look good. A nice pace, right mix of BS with some mat work mixed in. Guido's turning more into a wrestler and less comedy, which I think is a good addition to the card, and he deserves it, much like Nova. And Chetty balled out too. He looked pretty good, Matt. I went 2 3/4. A pretty fun little low card match.
Yeah, I went 2 3/4 on it too. But I will say, I'm not gonna lie, I was half expecting Sid to come back out again and fucking kill these guys. Like, but part of me kind of wanted it to. Like, I enjoyed the match, but imagine Guido taking a power bomb bump from Sid. That would have been something very impressive. But I mean, as is, it was a pretty good a lower card match. Joey was very focused on everything else happening in ECW, but this match at points, which I think kind of speaks to the match that was in the ring. But I mean, they did work hard, and I mean, it was clearly a filler to everything else happening on this show, but it was fun filler, which I always appreciate. So, and the springboard moonsault that Chetty hits is always great. So, I went 2 3/4 on it, Jenny.
Wrap it up. 2 3/4 for me too. They're very evenly matched. Like they're almost the same dude, right? Like style wise, size wise. So it's good. Like I like this spot for Chetty. I think he should get more of these type of spots. Also Guido. I mean, I don't know how much longer the FBI lasts. Well, I've been told
we got him to the end. I'm pretty sure. So
okay.
we're good there.
Yep.
So yeah, I like this. I could see this as a feud going forward, and I think it has some potential. Didn't seem like they left everything in the ring in this match, but it was good and weird kind of chaotic energy that you always get from Queen that can elevate something like this. 2 3/4.
We get clips of the Dudleys beating the piss out of Public Enemy in Detroit. Joey says they've been run out of ECW yet again. They decided to run away instead of fighting. And tonight, Gertner will reveal who paid the Dudleys and that they'll get a bonus when they finish off New Jack as well. We also will have Shane Douglas addressing his retirement rumors. We then come back from break. The Dudleys and Gertner are in the ring. Bubba brags on Public Enemy selling out yet again, taking the easy way, realizing they don't need to be in ECW because they can't hack it and they're no longer extreme enough. Rocco Rock is too old, Grunge is too high and too fat to deal with them. We see clips of the Dudleys wiping out Public Enemy on January 23rd in Detroit. Bubba keeps shitting on them. The Dudleys have been there 3 years and never back down from a fight, and the fans know it. They've split up the Eliminators, the Gangsters. They broke Hackmeyer's neck. They're the first guys to beat Tanaka and prove themselves as the best wrestlers and brawlers in history. The fans weren't there for them when they came together and won the titles. They took out the Sandman in front of his pregnant wife. They broke Beulah's neck and should be in no doubt they're the greatest tag team ever. Natural Born Killers fires up. Out comes New Jack, who questions that statement, calls them the Three Stooges, and says he doesn't walk alone. Bubba asks if he's going to go get Cronus and Spike, and New Jack says nope. Natural Born Killers hits again, and out comes Mustafa.
Ooh.
Back by his side. The Gangsters reunited. They smash Dick and clean house. Mustafa gets the guitar and, of course, turns and whacks New Jack, turning on his old friend. Joey, of course, always purposely slow to the game, says maybe the benefactor paid off Mustafa as well. As the Dudleys get in the ring and waste New Jack, they crack him with a 3D. New Jack is bleeding. Mustafa's beating him down. Cronus and Spike do show up. The Dudleys take them out with 3Ds. The crowd is chanting for Sid. Joey wonders who has the cash and the grudge to do this. And the Dudleys put their glasses on Mustafa, who pulls out a wad of cash and pays the Dudleys. And Gertner makes it clear that Mr. Mustafa was a mysterious benefactor all along. New Jack spits in Mustafa's face, and Mustafa beats him down more. Quite the segment to all this here. And I think Mustafa makes sense. I don't know if he's the most sexy choice, but I think when you look at the story that they're trying to tell, him wanting to take out New Jack and Public Enemy makes sense. I like the Dudleys being kind of hired guns. I think gets them away from just being like tag team champions for the millionth time. And it makes sense. They only give a shit about money and will beat the shit out of whoever. So I like that part of it. Again, I don't know how exciting it is for Mustafa to be the guy, but at least all ties together makes sense for me, Jenny.
Yes, it makes sense, I guess. When was the last time we saw Mustafa?
Oh, it's been a while.
It was
Like
like
a
he was
year?
there, then he left and like came back briefly.
I want to say it was like 97, wasn't it?
It might have been 97. It's been a minute.
I mean, I say it makes sense on the Public Enemy side, but on the New Jack side, to me, that doesn't make much sense. Because they never had any feuds or any kind of weirdness that we were aware of. Like,
Well, we'll
between
see if
each
he's got a
other.
reason. I mean, if he
Yeah.
explains it. But July 97 was the last Gangsters tag match
All right.
against the
So,
Dudleys.
It's been a hot
So,
minute.
No.
yeah, I don't know if we have. I don't think we've seen him since then. Maybe he popped in for something, but guess what was the feud where they was that them and remember they fought in the street and they ran over the car?
Yes,
Was that,
yes,
was
that's
that
what
who
I
was
was
that
talking
though?
about.
Was that the Dudleys and the Gangsters? That was the
It was
Dudleys,
the
right?
Dudleys.
That was
Yeah,
the
it was
So that was probably it. It was July 90.
Yeah.
So it's been almost
Yep.
2 years.
because I remember that car spot. But I don't think Mustafa and the word benefactor should be in the same sentence. I just don't think that goes together at all. And I Joey's confusion on whether he was the benefactor was pretty funny because I was also pretty confused at that point. So I don't think Joey was like being weird. I think that he also probably thought it's got to be somebody else, right? It can't be just Mustafa. That doesn't make sense to me. So I have more questions, and that's fine. I'm hoping that we get some answers, Patty.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. The segment itself was really good and really well done.
It was good.
But I need to know more, and hopefully we find out more. But as it is right now, it's like kind of like the Sure Jan gif, like it just I don't know. It just I need to know more because it is kind of weird that Mustafa's gone for a year and a half, and now all of a sudden he hates New Jack for some reason. Like,
and he has a ton of money.
Right.
Somehow.
Why and how are
Yes.
my questions. So hopefully we get answers to those. But the segment itself, like, it was really well done. The Dudleys were great. You could almost tell they were kind of legit pissed that Public Enemies were like,
Yeah,
we're not going to do this
Bailed out.
match. And that helped the promo because there was realism behind it.
Mhm.
But and the brawl was great too. So I have questions that I need answered.
Yeah, I mean, you almost wonder, like, do they? If it wasn't them getting signed by the WWF, was it more that they didn't want to like job to the Dudleys and look weak,
Right.
for a potential,
Mhm.
gig? And I'm looking quick to see when they signed. So they were still under contract at WCW when they did this run-in. Scheduled for February 12th in Queens, buried on the 20th. So they were negotiating with the WWF at the time of crossing the line, so that's why they
Okay.
bailed. That's why
Okay.
they canceled it. They made their debut on February 22nd. It looks like. February 22nd, Raw. They debuted, but they're
Okay.
gone. They're gone by April. I went back to WCW, but it looks like their final appearance is in August of '99. Looks like we do see them one last time they come in, but it's nothing substantial. So anyway, there you go. So we'll see them one more time. Looks like one more time. All right, Joey's in the nest. Recaps what we just saw. Tries to process it all. Joey sets up the next piece of breaking news, and we head down to Shane Douglas and Francine heading to the ring. Francine looks solemn. Shane carrying his boots. The crowd chanting, "Please don't go." Shane is tearing up. He says they've all revolutionized the industry. The last year and a half, his life has sucked personally, professionally, and physically. Shane puts his boots in the ring, talks about the rumors around his physical condition. Gladly, some have been greatly exaggerated, but for the past year and a half, he should have been more truthful. The injury he had put Ultimo Dragon to retirement, but he fought on with the heart of a champion. People have said things about him, calling him an asshole. Some people have been right. Some have called him the greatest in the world, and they're right too. No matter where you stand on him, it's nothing but a shoot. Francine is tearing up. She's distraught. Shane says he told someone years ago they overstayed their welcome in wrestling, and he always said when he had his last match, it'd be the greatest of his career. He wouldn't look back and thinks he could be proud of his match with Taz at the ECW arena, even though he lost. Shane grabs his boots and says, unlike other people, he knows when it's time to pass on the boots. The crowd is not happy. They're begging Shane to stay, causing Shane to start crying. Shane says he'll never leave the sport. He'll do what he can behind the scenes and keep ECW alive, but they have plenty of studs to keep things going. The people in the back will carry on the revolution for ECW. Shane says it's time to call it a career. The person that'll carry the revolution in the franchise and fill his boots is... we don't know. Because before we find out comes Just Incredible, Jazz, and Jason. Francine is breaking down. She's crying, but she stiffens up as they come to the ring. Incredible says he heard Shane is a very smart man, and he's made the decision of a lifetime because he is now the hardcore icon. He beat Tommy Dreamer within an inch of his life. He took that old-timer Terry Funk and got endorsed as a protege. And I took that line to mean that Funk is gone as well, by the way. He kind of writes it off quietly, like, I used him too. And we haven't heard from him in a while. So I'm guessing another Terry Funk angle, we're probably not going to see the blow off of.
Weird.
Yeah, shock. Credible calls Shane Gramps. He thanks him for passing the torch. He's the next franchise of ECW. Lance Storm is now out. We get a "Where's Your Bitch" chant as he's solo tonight. Storm says Credible may be just incredible, but that's the problem because Storm can do it all. He's from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Just like Bret Hart carried the WWF, he's carrying ECW, and he'll be the next franchise. Storm and Credible stare each other down. Shane cuts them both off and says they're making waves, but neither are a franchise. The man he is talking about is Tommy Dreamer. Credible canes Francine. Storm attacks Shane. Shane fires back, but Credible canes him as well. Tommy's in. He gets caned. Credible and Storm lay waste. Francine's bleeding. Credible kicks her back down, and we fade out on a very wild scene here with a lot going on. Tommy looks like he's going to get the torch from Shane as being the next icon, but Storm and Credible, the Young Guns, obviously have other things to say. I think it kind of works on a sneaky meta level too, Matt. When you think of Shane versus the Click, Incredible kind of being a low-end Click guy. So that at a very meta level, if you're in the know on that, is kind of neat too. But what did you think of the segment?
Holy shit, this was a lot. Shane was great here. Francine was great here. I mean, Shane legit crying while he's talking was great. Like, just there's like some sort of realism to it, you could tell, in his heart. And he's, he says the stuff about his injury where he basically alludes to, hey, I shouldn't have been stupid and fought through it for a year and a half, which hindsight being 2020, yeah, he's probably right on that. And, saying the last year and a half sucked, which is a hell of a thing to say when you've been a champion for the last year and a half. So there's a lot of realism to what he's saying. And then Credible comes out, and then this thing just goes fucking crazy. And, credit to Francine, because her mouth was a fucking mess after she took that shot. Like, it was rough. It was brutal. And then Credible kicks her. So I think this, with Shane clearly being a face now, this to me clearly sets up Credible as being the top heel in the company, which I think was the goal for this. Because, I'm assuming he probably had to get out of Queens with some sort of security detail because they were going to fucking kill him. But yeah, this was just an amazing segment from everybody. Everybody played their parts well. Just really well done. And I like the swerve that they did where it looks like Shane's going to retire, but no, it turns out that he's going to deal with Credible. So just awesome.
Well, then it's
stuff.
believable because there had to be rumors. The way that
Right.
Arena, chanted "Don't go."
Yep.
There's always rumors of guys jumping at this time, right?
Mhm.
So is he going to WCW? We know he's not going to WF. Is he going to WCW? Is he hurt? Is he retiring? Like, what's going on, Jenny?
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna try to get through this. This was rough on me. Francine was incredible in this segment. Like, I didn't feel like I was being worked like I do sometimes with Shane when he gets emotional, quote unquote. This, like Matt said, feels like from his soul, like his heart, and she is devastated. And I'm sobbing, no lie. The person who used to hate Shane Douglas, and I'm just dying thinking that he's leaving. It was rough. It was brilliant. It was heartfelt. Everybody in Queens was just quiet, which never happens in Queens. And the emotion was incredible for this episode. The symbolism with his boots in the ring, very good. Very good. This is probably my favorite Shane Douglas promo. Because I was sobbing. I was sobbing watching it. Him crowning a new franchise. I wasn't expecting that, but I like that angle. I think we can work with that, and maybe we get another match out of it for Shane. But this pretty much wrecked me. It was rough. It was really rough to watch, and even if he was faking it a little bit, I don't care. That's fine because I bought it, every
Right.
bit of it.
And I
I
mean,
don't think he was faking it.
no, and if we're trading the Funk angle for like the Young Guns versus Dreamer and the old Cowboys against like the Young Guns, like I kind of like this much better.
Oh,
Me too.
100%.
Than the
Yeah.
Funk Dreamer stuff.
Yep.
I think it's a much more interesting angle. And because Credible and Storm are on fire, especially Storm. So them trying to take the mantle from the old guys, I think is way more interesting than Dreamer dealing with an angry Funk.
I agree.
Yep.
I haven't liked that angle from the beginning. Like it was fine in that one, but
It had its moments, but yeah, I like this a lot. It's a great spot for Shane. And this ambiguity about what he's doing is giving me anxiety. Big time.
all right, big episode in the books. Best match for me was Guido and Chetty. It's our only match.
Only match, yeah.
Right.
Best moment, I went to Mustafa turn and the Shane speech and attack. Both were equally big.
Shane and Francine together. I mean, I've met them together, and I don't know. It's just it for me. Like, this is it for me, Maddie.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Shane stuff. Just everything Shane did on this show, pretty much.
Most 90s, I don't know, Mustafa. Hiccups also very nice.
Hiccups are also
Trying. I spent that whole soliloquy by Jenny trying to get rid of them, but they had not going.
Public Enemy, very 90s, since we're not going to see
also
him again.
yes.
Yep. All right, Stock Rising, Sid, Taz, Chetty, Mustafa, Storm, Credible, Shane, Fran, Tommy,
Everybody on this fucking show.
Everybody not named Steve Carino.
Yeah.
Stock Falling, Carino, Cronus, Public Enemy, all terrible.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 for me. Another great episode. We are on a hot streak here.
Yeah.
A lot of big angles. The only thing we're missing really is like a big match, but the angles are so big that it worked well.
Dude, I did the 9. If you have me sobbing my fucking eyes out on the wrestling show, you're gonna get a high fucking score. I was devastated.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go like 8.5 on this at least, because I mean, the last 2 segments were fantastic. It made me forget that there was actually a match that happened on this show. So,
all right, I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of these, so we're just gonna roll through. I'm just gonna deal with
Roll through. We'll try to
on.
scare you as you go.
Ah!
That helps.
Let's look at Matt. All right, I'm trying.
Oh shit, that's your first. That'll do it. Fuck. It's the same
All
thing
right.
I see in the mirror every morning.
Fuck, it didn't work. All right, February 27th, 1999. Joey's in the ring in Queens. We cut backstage where the Dudleys ask if they're ruining TV time and piss on the viewers' picnic. But they've been doing a lot of that lately. Running out the Hardcore Heroes Public Enemy, Bubba says Public Enemy beat the Bruise Brothers, the Funk Brothers, and the Gangsters, but they ran Public Enemy out of town and right to Vince's doorstep. New Jack will never get his hands on Mustafa because cash rules everything around me. Dollar bills, yo. And he has to go through them to get to him. Jenny, who's saying Cream, real quick?
I just don't like the money angle.
Trivia, who's saying Cream?
I don't know. Cream,
I'm
no
dying.
idea.
I'm dying inside. Oh my
All right,
God.
Matt, go ahead.
Wu-Tang Clan. God
There you
damn.
go. Jenny, who's saying Flavor in your air?
Flavor Flav.
No. Matt?
That would be Craig Mack.
Thank you.
I got you.
All right. any
Why is
thoughts on
this
opening?
happening? Why are we doing this random hip hop quiz?
He called me ugly. It's the least he could do.
Jenny, who's saying award tour?
With Taylor Swift.
Matt?
Tribe Called Quest.
Thank you.
I got
This
you.
is terrible. I did not sign on for this quiz.
Jenny, who's saying back that ass up?
Okay, I do know that. Oh, do I know that? Oh God.
It's
Tell
right
me
around
about
the time of the show.
That
I
was Taylor
just
Swift.
listened. I just listened to that song.
Matt?
That was Taylor Swift. It's juvenile.
Juvenile. Duh.
Jenny, who's saying make him say,
Oh my God. Master P finally.
Thank you. All right, we can move on. We got a long video package recapping this whole saga. Get our opening animation. Joey's in the nest. Says it's time to continue one of the greatest feuds to ever go down in ECW. The series continues in Queens. Tajiri. Super crazy. Crazy's out. Crazy's out. Tajiri has a drop kick to start. Cuts through Super Crazy with a hard kick. They spill outside. Tajiri pours it on at ringside. Suplexes Crazy into the fans. Tajiri moves the mat and rail. Meets him with an acai. Kicks Super Crazy back in the ring. Hooks the tarantula. Tajiri works the neck. Crazy counters to a Tiger Bomb for 2. Goes to surfboard into a rear chancery. The crowd is rocking as Super Crazy takes things back to the floor. Dumps Tajiri into the crowd. Flies into with a springboard acai. Back inside, Crazy gets 2 on a moonsault, then slams down Tajiri hard, hits a springboard moonsault for a near fall. Crazy goes up, but Tajiri crotches him, kicks away, drops Super Crazy to Trio Woe, pounds him with a baseball slide, kicks away. Tajiri gets 2 on a bridging German. Crazy comes hammering back, misses a charge, flies over the top to the floor. Tajiri meets him with a somersault plancha. Back inside, Crazy counters into a leaping DDT for 2. Tajiri counters a powerbomb to a DDT. Crazy comes back with a series of springboard missile drop kicks and finishes with a springboard frog splash to win. Another great match. As always, they sprinkled in some new stuff. The new crowd in Queens loved it. Trading wins. At some point, please mix it up. But they got to finish the loop, I guess. Get through the showcase. On par with the last few. 3.5 for me, Jenny.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3.5. Same match. What's the score? I totally kind of, they're all kind of.
I think it's 3-2 Crazy now.
That's what I was thinking. Crazy.
I thought it was 2-2 because Tajiri won the rubber match, but who won in? I guess we can look back. Who won in North Carolina? That would be the one.
That was Super Crazy.
That was Crazy. If Crazy won in North Carolina, then it's 3-2 Crazy.
Okay,
yeah.
The math checks out. That's where I was thinking.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of the hardest part about their matches.
It was surprising to me because I would have thought Tajiri seemed like the guy. Maybe they were behind a little bit more. So
yes, I tend to like Tajiri a little bit more. So I don't know. I feel like they're gonna even out, and nobody's gonna win this series, which is also fine with me. So another 3.5 stars for these fabulous bastards.
I mean, yeah, it's another 3.5-star match. I'm running out of great things to say about him, but I will say about this one, it was cool to see him fly into the fucking crowd in Queens.
That was awesome.
In that tiny ass area. So that was cool to see where they're doing these dives where there's just no room to do anything in Queens, really. So that was cool. But I mean, yeah, it's another 3.5-star match, guys. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know they're gonna fight more, but like for this loop, I'm wondering if this is it now because we've hit the big spots. The big places we've kind of run through it, so we'll see if we get any more of it. But Joey's in the nest. He goes over Shane's announcement from last week. We get clips of the segment that ended in a lot of violence with Credible and Storm standing tall. And tears. Back to the ring we go. Is Skull Von Krush is back to take on Sabu. Von Krush heads to the ring. Joey talks about his resume, how he's full of hatred with no political agenda. Joey hypes a VHS release of the show with Sabu and Fonzie hit the ring. They got the FTW belt with them. Fonzie says to watch because Sabu will kill somebody. And Joey walks that back. He's not going to. He's never killed anyone. After a break, Von Krush is in control, gets a power slam elbow off the middle for 2. He drops a leg for 2. He does a really weird, like, thrusting, jerking off gesture before dropping a low elbow. It was like Dr. Ken in The Hangover kind of thing. Like, fuck on you. Skull Von Crush drops a leg for 2, does a weird, again, that thrusting. Joey thinks Sabu is a bit preoccupied here tonight as Skull Von Crush stomps away. Sabu dodges a frog splash, knocks Von Krush outside. Sabu shoots him to the railing, sets up a table bridge, fights back, but puts Sabu on it. Skull Von Crush heads up top. Sabu crotches him, follows him. It's a superplex for 2. He puts him on a table. Skull slides away as Sabu meets him with a springboard plancha anyway. Sabu sees a fan in a Taz shirt. He rips the shirt off him. As Joey says, this is the hometown of Taz, and the fans are in Sabu's head. Sabu jams the fan in the head with a sharp object and keeps jabbing him over and over. The crowd is buzzing. Fonzie smashes Von Crush with a chair. He falls on a table bridge. Sabu puts him through with a springboard splash. Sabu grabs a mic, which we never hear Sabu talk. He calls for Taz. Taz comes out right away. We get a big brawl that leads to the whole locker room coming out. The group ends up on the floor. Sabu flies into a crowd of wrestlers with a somersault plancha, and that's that. So a fine match, just a backdrop really to the war between Taz and Sabu. Sabu dripping further into insanity. The fire is raging even hotter with these two. Von Krush is fine as low-card fodder. Sabu is just an animal and a madman. Man, I went 2 stars, gentlemen's 2 on the squash. But the post-match is really where it's at as they continue to march toward living dangerously with these two guys.
I went 2.5 on this because he stabbed someone in the face with a spike out of nowhere. Like and it wasn't even the guy in the fucking ring he was with. It was some rando.
Yeah.
So he just carries that spike with him all the time, I guess. But I mean, the match itself was kind of whatever. It was basically a Sabu squash. But goddamn, don't wear a Taz shirt around Sabu. Note to self. Holy shit, he'll fucking stab you with a railroad spike if you do that. Shit. So I mean, the match is fine, but like you said, it kind of took a back seat to the Taz Sabu brawl. So 2.5. But Jesus, don't piss off Sabu.
No, that guy deserved it. He was being a fucking asshole to Sabu. He had a poster and he was just like shoving it because they were setting up the table right there. And Sabu just fucking snapped and pulled out something and started wailing on this fan. Joey went silent. That's why I was like, what the fuck's happening? The camera didn't show it anymore. And they went wide on it so you couldn't really see. That guy must have got fucked up because Sabu went ham on his ass. That shit, I was cackling. That shit was so funny to me. Sabu just losing it in the middle of this match. But Joey kept saying, like, Sabu seems off a step. Sabu seems distracted. I'm like, what the fuck is the giveaway? He looks exactly the same. What? It's not like he was missing his spots or doing. He was amazing. Like, I'm like, what is he talking about?
You wonder how many of these stories, like, I mean, again, Joey's Joey, but he adds like a lot of context and depth to what's going on. I do think a lot of this would be lost in the ether if it wasn't for him like telling us some stuff.
Yes,
he does a good job at it, and obviously Paul is feeding it to him. But it's like they really get over a lot of extra things through the commentary that would be hard to pick up in ECW.
Yeah, because in no way did he look off of his game in this fucking match. I mean, I did 2.5, but like, I don't know. Sabu was not the reason for that. Like, the table break was amazing. Him calling Taz out, I lost my shit because he didn't have to say nothing but Taz into the microphone, and that bitch came running out. He was gonna come in and fight, and then they got, the locker room came out. But you know what? I liked it. I thought this was great. Sabu's great. He's fucking. He might be number 1 on that 50 list because he's the man.
All right, Joey says Storm is informed ECW that Tammy Lynn Bitch has left the promotion due to her verbal lambasting at the hands of Tommy Dreamer, and he's requested time to speak tonight because he has a brand new manager. So, short run for Tammy Lynn Bitch. Storm hits the ring in Queens. He says Tammy Lynn is no longer with him. She's gone due to ribbing by the boys, including being ribbed for having smaller breasts than Tommy Dreamer. Great line. Joey knows that Don Callis is standing in the balcony watching on. He says he's from Canada. It was known as the Jackal in the WWF. Storm makes some more fat jokes about Dreamer. Joey's trying to figure out why the hell Callis is here. Storm says he has a new manager, and of course, Joey assumes it's Callis. But Lance says the bitch is back. His new manager is Beulah McGillicuddy. Of course, as smart as Joey is, always bites on these stupid things. He's, Beulah's back.
I did too. Shut up.
Come on. But it's obviously just Tammy Lynn bitch back again, dressed up as Beulah. Tammy Beulah, I don't know what to call her, struts around the ring. She plays to the fans. Fake Beulah. Plays to the fans as Joey's ripping on it. He wonders if the virus from the WWF, Don Callis, is behind this distasteful display. Dreamer's out. He attacks Storm, but Credible and Jason make the save. They beat down Tommy. Shane comes in to save. Francine spears Jason and beats him up. And that gets a big pop. She holds him, and then her and Shane hold up the triple threat symbol, and they kind of nudge Tommy, and he does it as well. And they hug to wrap up. So it looks like the new triple threat is Francine, Shane Douglas, and Tommy Dreamer at the moment.
Hell yeah.
Pretty cool. And it felt like a nice elevation for Francine. She deserves to be like brought up to that level.
Yeah.
A good segment. We get some mystery mixed in, like what's going on with Callis, some good trolling by Storm, and a good violent attack by Storm. Incredible. We wonder what's going on with Shane's future. He was about to retire. Now he seems to be embroiled in a blood feud. The ECW superpowers coming together, much like Tommy and Sandman did back in the day. We're now going to get Tommy and Shane, it looks like. So, yeah, Jenny, I thought it was a really good segment again. We'll see where Callis ends up. Is this going to lead to anything, or is it just going to be like a random one-off? Who the hell knows? But we'll see.
Mm-hmm. It might have been Joey just throwing that extra flavor in like he likes to do, but we'll see. But, yeah, Tammy Lynn Beulah faked me out just for a little hot minute. Look, I just believe in Joey and what he says, okay? I'm sorry.
He gets so much wrong.
I know. I can't help it. This was excellent. Fran, my love, she was the MVP. She got her. The crowd just acknowledged. They acknowledged Fran, in a way that's not about her tits. That I really
it's like she deserves the face stuff too, just like Shane does. So like that's the cool part of this is that she also is getting the face love for the first time since she was with the Pitbulls way back in '95.
She deserves it. She deserves it. She's been every step of the way along with Shane. I just love it, and I feel a little emotional talking about Francine, and that's weird. I did not expect that to hit me as I talked about her, but her face is so fucked up, right? She already got fucked up.
She got whacked.
Oh yeah, there's a big bruise across her. I mean, just respect, 100%. I love this.
Yeah, this was really great. Like you guys mentioned, Francine was awesome here. Just probably shouldn't have been out there, but was. Just face is a mess. She's got this giant wad of gauze in her mouth, it's fucking Chaw or something. Like just her spearing Jason. That spear was great, and looks like we have a new triple threat again, and it's Shane and Tommy. Wasn't expecting that. Didn't have that on my bingo card, but here we are. So, but yeah, this is really well done, and boy, I hope Don Callis sticks around because God, I am a fan of that man.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, that's it. Best match, yet again, Tajiri and Crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's go.
Sabu and Skull Von Crush for worst match, I guess, by default. Best moment, I went Dreamer and Douglas and Francine throwing up the triple threat. Like it's a cool moment in Queens.
Yep. Oh my
God. Them uniting. Yep. Definitely a Mega Powers moment. Most 90s, the idea of Skull Von Crush's new movement, like whatever Joey was fucking going on about,
it was like
it's felt very 90s.
Yeah,
very 90s.
It was something. Don Callis, also
that's the new movement
90s.
right there. He was doing right there.
Don Callis.
I expect some new wave music that he's listening to.
Oh yeah.
Stock Rising, Tajiri, Super Crazy, Storm, Credible, Sabu, Francine, Shane, Tommy.
Again, everybody.
Falling, I'm with the Taz fan. Just got crushed.
His eyeball is falling out of his head after
he was never the same again. He got fucked up.
Final grade 7.5. Like another really strong episode. Man, what a run.
We're cooking here.
And I feel like going into November, remember, we were down a bit. We were like, oh, maybe we've peaked. Like, maybe this is it.
Yep.
But really, since that pay-per-view, we didn't, we were a little lukewarm in that too, with the whole ending with Taz and the six man and all that.
Yes.
But really, since then, we've kind of been really hot. I mean, and especially since Guilty as Charged, like these last 7 that we've covered over the last 2 episodes of our show have been fantastic. So we'll see as we barrel into Living Dangerously if it holds up.
That being said, it's a different feel. It's not the same. Like it's like it's growing on me slowly, and I can appreciate it now, but it's different from the early days, from like 95, 97. Which is fine. I mean, it's good, but
we've been through multiple iterations, right? It almost feels like different promotions. Like
it does.
That early 94, 95 feels like a super indie where they'd bring in some names, have some big dream matches. Then with like when Raven and Tommy really like that feud kicked in like mid 95, that feels like an era that it was very unique. Like 95, where like Jericho came in and Ray and those guys, like 95 to early 97. Then I felt like another era. Or whatever Raven left, like that felt like the end of that era. Right. Then you get the WWF war through 98 felt a lot of like angry and this and that. But yeah, this feels like a new
it's a maturity. It's a maturity that I've noticed in individual wrestlers, in the booking.
The presentation is slicker too. Like it feels like more of just a mainstream TV wrestling company. Like that's the big difference.
Yep. Yeah, but the emotion's still hitting me. Like I'm sobbing watching some of this shit. So, it's
you could argue right now
there.
And if this feud works, like it's probably the most balanced they've been since probably 96. Or maybe 95 even. Like balance between emotional feuds and like awesome wrestling. Because we've kind of been either one or the other for a few years now. 98 we were a little bit low on the in-ring, I think, right? But like this really feels like, okay, we're getting awesome matches because they brought in these great workers that are going balls out. And then we have the Dudleys, Dreamer, Sandman, Incredible, Storm Roller, Heat Machines, right on top of everything. And Shane. So like we kind of still have those emotional stories with these great storytellers, but then we have these incredible workers on the undercard just churning out these great matches left and right, week to week. So yeah, it's a cool time. We'll see how it holds up over the last couple of years here. So, all right, we're done for tonight. We'll be back soon in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, let's just quickly check what we got going on. We'll have 3 weeks of television. And then a month from today, we'll be with you from Living Dangerously, 1999. So already almost into another pay-per-view. Crazy how we're getting through it. So be sure to subscribe on YouTube or on any podcast application. Just do both. Follow us on all social media. Don't miss a thing. Extremely live your life in an extreme way. To the extreme. To the extreme. Talk to you. Goodbye.